Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda, and today we are starting out the first of, I guess, a series of December reading vlogs. So I decided that since I'm participating in so many readathons this month, the best way would just be to have weekly vlogs, and here we are. So I've got two starting today. Both are month long. So the first is the Reindeer Readathon that's being hosted by my friend Eric over at Break Even Books. And I'm not entirely sure I'm going to start that one today or tomorrow, because tomorrow the Tis-the-Season-a-Thon starts. And I've got a lot of books that overlap prompts for both. And I still haven't finished Out of Oz, which I started back in October. So I want to sit down and finish as much of that as I can. I've still got like 200 pages left. So we'll see what I can accomplish today. It's 11 o'clock. But I just got on to the second readathon that's a month long, the website for it, and that is the Winter Magical Readathon that is being hosted by G over at Book Roast. And this one she set up a website for, and it's themed around the second book, so Chamber of Secrets, and I guess the end goal is to save Ginny from the Chamber of Secrets. So I'm going to open the first chapter right now and see what books I need to read. So I'm going to set you down. I'm not going to do a screen recording, but I'll read through things. But let me readjust and get paper so I can write things down, and we can see what path I'm on. Okay, so first path we're given is that Dobby's come to the house, made it into your room. He's, making quite a commotion, as Dobby does, because he's never met a wizard as kind as Mr. Harry Potter. So he asks you not to go back to Hogwarts, but obviously you're not going to stay at the Dursleys' house. So the question is, what do? You can either falsely promise that you won't go back to Hogwarts so Dobby leaves, or make no promises and continue to try to talk him out of it. I'm not going to make any promises because I'm not going to lie to appease Dobby. So I'm clicking on that. All right. There is a picture of a very startled Hedwig in the back of the Fort Anglia. Okay, so I'm going to read through this and I'll be back with what the prompt is. I have arrived at the burrow and I've got three options for an activity to do, since there's only time and I'm really tired, so I can only pick one. So I can either help Ron to degnome the garden as his punishment for stealing the car. I can stay up chatting about Muggle nitbits with Mr. Weasley. He's so charmed by it all. Or you're not done with flying. Grab a snack and meet the Weasleys in the field to play some Quidditch. Knowing what I know about denoming, don't really want to get bit by those buggers. I would probably just chat around with Mr. Weasley. Okay. Ooh, I got to my reading prompt, so let me read through this and I'll be right back. All right, so my reading prompt is to read a contemporary. This can be a book, comic, short story, etc. that's set in the real or Muggle world, which will be okay. I don't honestly have a lot of contemporaries, but I do have some planned for the couple of readathons I'm participating in. So I might read 10 Blind Dates. I might have Snow and Love. There's also the option, I think I want to get One Day in December. So I've got a couple options. Or I could also read, though I consider this a classic, Little Women, but it is a contemporary, or is it fiction? I mean, it's still set in the Muggle world. So I've got a couple options. I don't know exactly what I'll read yet, but I will let you know. So I can move on now. All right. Ooh, okay. I think I'm done with chapter 1. So I was one of the lucky ones that only got one reading prompt out of this. I think the max for chapter 1 was 2. So depending on the path you took, you could either get one book or two books to read. So that's pretty cool. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to read and get it done before next Sunday, because I want to jump right into chapter 2 when it becomes available. Good morning. So Tis-the-Season-a-Thon began today. This is just a week-long readathon, which means I'm now in the middle of 3 readathons. But I did start and finish my first book this morning for 2 of the readathons. I picked up Christmas Eve 1914. I think the author's name is Charles Olivier, and it was an Audible original production. So not just a book, but an actual like full production and stuff. And for Reindeer Readathon, I used it as my prompt for Comet, which is a book that you think will have a big impact on you. And then for Tis-the-Season-a-Thon, it was read a book while you have your favorite holiday treat. So I did have a little bit of eggnog while I was reading that, and definitely a very impactful story. It was just a very short, like 1 hour, 13-minute production, telling the story of a lieutenant who was writing a letter to another lieutenant's mother, telling her the story of how her son passed away during World War I, fighting at the trenches at no man's land. And it was just a story of the events that led up to it and him telling the story. So very impactful, and just an overall like really good story as well. Just to remember that Christmas Day, Christmas Eve of 1914, they called a ceasefire. That way they could, they being, you know, the English, the German, the French, they could get their soldiers that were wounded or didn't make it through no man's land and bury them, tend to them, and then just kind of remember what it's like to not be at war, and just to kind of know these people as people again and not just as the enemies. So a very, very good story. I would recommend it if you have access to Audible and can pick it up. So now I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to read. I want to finish Breath of Snow and Ashes, which isn't working towards any of my challenges. It's just a carryover from last month. But I think I might also start the Essex Serpent on, I think through Scribd I can access it, because that's my gifted prompt for Tis-the-Season-a-Thon, and it's also my Donner prompt for Reindeer Readathon, which is a book that has a beautiful cover, and it was gifted to me by my friend Bailey. So I think I might do that this morning and see how far into it I can get. I might end up, because I think that's the only audiobook I'll have for Tis-the-Season-a-Thon, so I think I'll probably switch back and forth between that and A Breath of Snow and Ashes just to see if I can finish that up. So yeah, there's that for right now. I am working today, so I don't really think I'll have much more of an update until I'm off work, and I'll let you know how far I get in the Essex Serpent. Sorry, it's not even 8 a.m. yet. But yeah, so that's my plan for right now. So I will check in with you all here in a little bit. Alright, so it's been a couple hours. Just thought I'd give you a quick update. I started listening to the Essex Serpent, and I'll be honest, it took me quite a while to get into it. I had to restart the book probably 3 or 4 times. And I realized, because I do have a hard copy of it, that the first like section, it's like just 3 pages. It's the kind of the preface almost, wasn't included in the audiobook. So when I was originally trying to flip to find where I was to mark the physical book, I was really confused because I knew I was in the first chapter, and I was like, well, I'm not seeing any of these words here. So I hope there's not more I'm missing out on with this audiobook, but I guess we'll see. The narrator's okay. I think it's just the writing style that's maybe not working so well for me. It is told in third person, which is fine because that's how most stories are told, in third person past tense. But I don't know. I don't know if it's just because we started off with the characters not being super likable that I'm just not jiving with it. I don't know if it just wasn't really what I was expecting. So we'll see how it continues to go. But right now I am working on setting up my 2020 bullet journal, and mostly working on my reading spread. So that's the cover page for my reading section of it. But at the store I bought the they have in like the Christmas section right now for kids all of the Crayola sets, and I looked at this last year and wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it, but I did get the Crayoligraphy, which is a hand lettering activity set, and it comes with these different pens. So you've got like some brush pens, some gel pens, and some of the like super tip combos. I also got a 50-pack of this. And then I just made a copy of all the activity sheets. That way I have the originals still and I can continue to make copies and work on them. But I really want to work on some hand lettering before I actually write things like titles and things in my bullet journal. So I'm going to work on a couple of these sheets right now, and then continue like inking out outlines and things like that. I'll do a flip through early in 2020 of what my setup looks like for reading and for what my month looks like. But I drew my cover page, and then I also drew this bookshelf, and I'm gonna write a quote in there, but basically like what I'm doing right now with my bullet journal. Well, I have a traveler's notebook, but I've got dot grid for my reading section. I'm writing just the title of the books in each square, so it'll be just a you're at a glance sort of thing. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. There's 160 book spots, which is perfect. It's I set my goal this year for 75, and I'm already at 90 books. So next year has the potential. I did read 100 books last year. I think I'm going to hit 100 this year. So I might have 20 spots left next year, but if not, there's room to grow. So yeah, I'm just going to keep inking those out, and probably find a Netflix Christmas movie to watch. I was thinking the new one with Vanessa Hudgens in it, that is something about like a Christmas night, or a night for the night before Christmas, or I don't know, something about some night guy. So yeah, I'm gonna go sit with my dogs and watch that and work on some artsy things. So maybe tomorrow I'll show you some of the pages I did, so you can see any progress I've made. And I'll probably read in bed. I'm thinking of starting Snow and Love, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I've also been like ordering a whole bunch of things for Christmas on Amazon and opting for the like Prime delivery day so that I get $1 towards digital items. So I think I've got about like $2 to $4 or something that I could use on a Kindle book, and I might get the group book for Tis-the-Season-a-Thon, which is 10 blind dates, but I'm not sure yet. I should read Snow and Love because I own it. It's also, 10 blind dates is also going to be the group book for the Creating & Co. Readathon that's happening later this month. So I might save it for that, but I don't know. We'll see. So I will check in with you all tomorrow. Hello. So it's Tuesday now, and I haven't finished another book, but I did last night start Snow and Love, which is a collection of 4 short stories. I read, I think it was called Snow and Mistletoe by Casey West, and I really, really like that story. Super predictable, but just, you know, perfect for when you want that contemporary little romancy story. At first, when I was reading it, I was really confused because it starts off the same way as, I think it's Dashing Through the Snow by Debbie Maycomber. I was like, wait a second, this can't be that story because I know it was a different author. So I was super confused at first. But basically, Snow and Mistletoe is about a girl who is doing an exchange program for a year in Italy, and she, the pressure gets to be too much. So she's trying to fly home for Christmas. Home is in California, and her layover is in Colorado, and naturally a snowstorm is blowing in. Her plane's been canceled. And so she tries to rent a car, but she's only 17, so she's not old enough. And who happens to be also renting a car at the same time is a kid in her senior class in high school that she barely knows, and his 2 buddies and his sister, because they were snowboarding. So sister's old enough to rent a car. She tags along with them, and a lot of the plot is his friends out him about a crush on he's had on a girl for like 3 years, and how the girls in the car, his sister and Amelie, I think is her name, they're trying to give him advice on like how he should finally let this girl know. And so each stop along the way, he picks up a little trinket so that he can deliver it to her on Christmas and just like say, hey, I was thinking about you, and these are the shenanigans we got up to on our road trip home. So it's really cute. Definitely super predictable, but just what I wanted. So actually, Kindle's right here. So I'm gonna read the next story tonight, which will be Working in a Winter Wonderland by Amy Friedman. I've never read anything from Amy Friedman before. Actually, Amy Friedman, Marissa De La Cruz, and Nick Stone I've never read anything from before, but I have read a couple Casey West books. So that'll be interesting to see how those go. I got a little further in the Essex Serpent, and I think the main reason I don't like it, or I'm not liking it so much, is the narration style, but also, oh my gosh, what's her name? Cora. She reminds me a lot of Anna Karenina, and I think that's why she's bothering me. She's got kind of like the same relationship with her husband that Cora has in this story, and the same relationship with her child that Cora has, and I think that's what's really getting to me. But we're getting more into like the mystery behind the Essex Serpent and what's happening, so I think things are going to pick up and it'll be a better story. For right now, I am going to sit on the couch and watch some Gilmore Girls and continue setting up my bullet journal for 2020. I think in a couple weeks I've got a bullet journal flip through that I'm gonna do just to show everyone my setup. Today I also, my video to announce the readathon I put together and I'm hosting went up. It's the Polar Express readathon, and it's going to be the week of December 23rd through 29th, and it is Polar Express themed, so there's still lots of time to find out the information about that and join if you'd like to. I'll leave the announcement video down in the description box below, but yeah, actually right now I'm on Audible's Cyber Monday deals, because the whole Outlander series is on sale and the Red Rising series is on sale. I'm listening to the Outlander books on Scribd, and I own the original trilogy of Red Rising already on Audible, but I think I'm going to pick up the last two Outlander books. That way I don't have to rely on Scribd, because I listen to a lot of audiobooks a month, and I frequently run out of my unlimited month's worth of audiobooks, because I think you're only allowed 3 audiobooks a month or something like that, and I definitely listen to a lot more than that. So I think I'm going to pick those 2 up on Audible, and then I'm going to go sit on my bum. So I will definitely check in with you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. I have my violin lesson, and then after I get to pick up my wedding dress, which is super exciting, so I'll take you along with me for that, though I don't know honestly if I'm gonna be recording while I'm in there or not, so we'll see, but I will check in with you tomorrow. Hello. So we made it to Wednesday, still going strong with my readathons. I read another book in Snow and Love last night. I read another story, and I don't remember what that one was called, but it was the story by Amy Friedman, and it was a Hanukkah story, though the main character was Jewish and she and her family celebrated Hanukkah, but it was essentially about her having a crush on this super rich guy she went to high school with. She's in college now. Her friend throws a party every New Year's, and there's this gold dress that she has had her eye on for a few weeks, and she doesn't have the money to pay for this dress. So she runs into her crush at the mall, and when he conveniently is like, oh yeah, someone at my dad's store just quit, and then she's like, hey, I'm looking for a job, and he's like, you know what, you'd be perfect for that. Long story short, the job is not what she thinks it is, and she starts working at the store. He's being all flirty and stuff, and he's not really the type of guy that she thinks he is. So it was all right. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did Snow and Mistletoe, but I think I just kind of like that trope a bit more, of the whole, like, we have to rush home for Christmas to surprise the family and get thrown in a car with a random stranger who happens to be like super attractive. I just like that a bit more. So I've got 2 stories left. I've got the one by Nick Stone and the one by Marissa De La Cruz. I'm gonna read at least one of those tonight and see how that goes. I'll probably finish up the other one tomorrow night, and then I'll have enough time to pick up one more physical book, which I think is going to be The Greatcoat. I don't think I'm going to read the group read this time, because it's also the group read for the Tis-the-Season-a-Thon readathon that I'm participating in like 2 weeks, I think. So I think I'm going to wait for that one then, and not stress myself out too much. But I am still listening to the Essex Serpent as well, and it's getting a little better. I think now that I'm learning more about the characters and where they are, I'm just in the story and a little bit more invested, even though I still don't really like them that much. I think, halfway through now. At least that's where it looks like I am when I move my bookmark in the physical book. I'm about halfway. I will be doing quite a bit of driving for me today. I have to drive to my violin lesson and then drive from there up to the next town to get my wedding dress and then drive home, which means I might be stuck in a little bit of traffic, but I'll probably get at least a solid 2 hours more listen in that book. So I'll be that much closer. I think I have about 7 hours left. So I'll be able to finish that probably by Friday. And then I'm not going to pick up another audiobook for this readathon. I think I'm going to go back, excuse me, to Outlander and try and finish that. I'm reading A Breath of Snow and Ashes, and I'm over halfway in that. I think I've got like 20 hours left. So in between this week-long readathon and the next week-long readathon, I have 1 week. So my plan is to finish Outlander during that. It doesn't count towards any of the readathons I'm doing right now, but that's okay. It would if I had read less, because it could count towards one of the Reindeer readathon prompts and also be a bonus book because it's over 500 pages. But since I have fewer than 500 pages left, I'm not going to count it because that would just be cheating. Happy Friday. So yesterday I didn't take the chance to actually talk to the camera, but you'll see that I was hanging out with my brother's pup. He ended up working overtime, so I brought the pup over to our house, and he and Aoife were so cute and snuggling together while Sky and I were playing some Magic. The first round I won, the second round he won. And I'm finally getting a hang of that game now, I think. But a little bit of a reading update for you guys. I just finished another book that counts for 3 of the readathons I'm in. So for Reindeer Readathon, I've finished both the Comet prompt and the Cupid prompt. So I have a total of 35 points right now. The Cupid prompt, which was a book that contained romance in it, was Snow and Love, which is a collection of 4 short stories that kind of take place around the holiday season. I just finished that just a little bit ago. I would say that the story by Casey West was my favorite, for sure. And the others were all right, but they just weren't as good to me as the one by Casey West. I really liked that one. I gave it a 3-star rating overall. So not bad, but I mean, contemporaries, especially young adult contemporary, isn't really my thing. So 3 stars, pretty good. For the Tis-the-Season-a-Thon, I have completed the prompt of read a book while eating your favorite treat. And then I just read a holiday-themed book, which is Snow and Love again. It takes place during one of the stories is a couple days that lead up to Christmas. It also has like some scenes on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Same with another story. It was, I think it ended on Christmas Eve. One of the stories was about getting home for the holidays, and I'm kind of blanking on the last story, if I'm being honest. That's the second one by Amy Friedman. Yeah, so I don't remember what that one was about. But so far I have posted 4 of the 7 photo challenges for Tis-the-Season-a-Thon. There's one for each day of the week. I still have to do today's, which is Ghost of Christmas Future, and that's a holiday read. Sorry that you didn't get to. I'm not sure. Actually, I know what book I can use for that, so I just have to set up the picture, which I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Right now, oh, and also the third readathon that Snow and Love worked for was my chapter 1 selection for the winter magical readathon. I got the prompt of reading a contemporary, and Snow and Love is definitely a contemporary. So I think for right now I'm going to start cleaning the house with 3 puppies, and it's been dry, but we definitely have a patch in our yard where the grass doesn't grow because that's where the puppies run. So having 3 of them in the house yesterday and today, and we're gonna have Boone again tomorrow. My floors need good sweeping, and I think I'm gonna wait to mop until probably Sunday, since we'll have puppy paws tracking in mud, and boy does he have some big paws. So yeah, I think I'm gonna continue listening to The Essex Serpent right now. I have 3 hours left in that, and the goal is to finish that by Sunday, since it is one of the books, or it's a prompt. It fits for a prompt that for the Tis-the-Season-a-Thon, which is a book that was gifted to you. So I'd like to finish that. I think I'm gonna vacuum and sweep, and that's probably all I'm gonna have time for before my brother comes to pick up his pup. He should be here in about an hour. So yeah, I'll at least get a good hour listened to of that. I'll be down to 2 hours, and then I'll have probably another hour and a half until Maddie and Sky get home. So I think I'm going to wrap some presents. That sounds like a good plan. So I'll listen to my book some more while I wrap presents. But I don't want to wake the puppy up because he's sleeping, and he doesn't bite me when he's sleeping. Sorry, we're a little wiggly, but he's right there, just hanging out with me, taking a nap. He's so cute when he's asleep. He's cute when he's awake too, but he's a little land shark right now. And I know as soon as I get up, he's gonna get up, and then he'll need to go out because he's still got puppy bladder. But yeah. Oh, I need to fill the pellet stove right now too. Okay, I am going to go listen to a book and do all my chores. So if I have time, I might check in with you all again today. If not, I might show some like B-roll or whatever of wrapping presents and bullet journaling and things like that. I'm still working on setting out my 2020 bullet journal. I've been working a little bit on hand lettering, faux calligraphy mostly, so I feel like at an okay spot where I can finally write titles in my bullet journal for next year, and I'm not going to be too annoyed by how imperfect they are. So definitely going to plan to do that while we watch a movie with the kiddo tonight. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now and go do my chores. So I will check in with you at some point. This week has been super successful, like not so much with the vlogging, but definitely with the reading. I finished The Essex Serpent today, which I ended up giving a 3-star rating. I really liked the atmosphere of the story. I got confused a lot with the characters, especially some of the male characters, because I feel like the author would call them by either their first or their last name, but like never really said their first and last name together a lot, so I kept thinking there were like more characters that we were following than there actually were. And the plot did drag a little bit. It's kind of got like a tiny bit of a magical realism feel to it. It's a little bit of a mystery, but it was a really interesting read, I'd say. It took me a while to get into the writing style. I didn't really like the narration style at first, and I also really didn't like the characters just because they were so just kind of unlikable. Like I compared the main character in The Essex Serpent, Cora, to Anna Karenina in Leo Tolstoy's novel, and she still felt like that, like the whole way through, just a super privileged girl who just, I don't know, it was kind of like poor me when things didn't go her way. But quickly, I just want to wrap up all of my stats for the readathons that took place during this week. So Reindeer Readathon started on Sunday the 1st, and I've completed 3 prompts so far. I've completed Comet with Christmas Eve 1914, Cupid with Snow and Love, and Donner with the Essex Serpent. And I'm currently working on Vixen, which is the great coat for me. This is under 200 pages, and I started it last night. I only read the prologue, but not too bad. So we'll see how far I can get with that today. The other readathon that started on the 1st was the Winter Magical Readathon, and the path I took led me to the prompt of reading a contemporary, so I used Snow and Love for that, and chapter 2 opens up tomorrow, so I'm really excited to see where that leads as well. And then Tis-the-Season-a-Thon started on the 2nd, and I've read 3 of the 6 books, or 3 books to fit 3 of the prompts. And I haven't done today's photo challenge, which is candy cane spines, and then tomorrow's will obviously be for the next vlog I start. So if I'm not going to get to the bonus book, which is 10 blind dates. Snow on the cover is again going to be The Great Coat, so we'll see if I can finish it between today and tomorrow. Holiday themed was Snow and Love. Gift, or a book that was gifted to you that you haven't read yet, was The Essex Serpent. Read a book while eating your favorite holiday treat was Christmas Eve 1914. And then a book related to music. I have The Nutcracker written down, which I also have written down for the Reindeer Readathon for the prompt of Dancer. And I have an advent calendar of that with like little 4-page like cardboard books. So I could definitely get that in. But there's part of me who also wants to find like a bound copy of The Nutcracker and read it. So we'll see. But yeah, I had a really great reading week so far. I got 50 points this week for team stocking. Woo woo. And by the sounds of it, everyone else in the team had like really great progress for this week as well. So that's awesome. But yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna leave this weekly reading vlog, and we can pick up again tomorrow. So I hope you really enjoyed. I would love to know if you're also participating in any of the month-long readathons, or if you also participated in Tis-the-Season-a-Thon. So please let me know in the comments down below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!